You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340. WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Here's a tip, Basilio. How about starting your show on time? I mean, I don't know. Just kind of asking for a friend. How about starting your freaking show on time? Can we do that? I mean, Bino, do you think that's a pretty decent idea on my part? Or as I wish you and Bri a great Monday, no matter when people hear this, no matter what time of the day it is when you're catching it. But great Monday to you, Beanstar.
Same to you, Tony. Welcome home.
Whoa,
back
man.
on terra firma, Tona.
What a journey yesterday. What a journey. I wrote on the blog that my kids got caught in the airport in Philadelphia. We went to the beach for a week, you know. And by the way, we're going to get some Tennessee stuff. We have all kinds of stuff to talk about today, but we dropped them off at the airport Saturday after, you know, week at the beach and bye-bye and goodbye. And Anthony has to be in Chicago and, you know, everybody's got to be somewhere and blah, blah, blah. So we're watching the board, and we keep getting these updates that the flight is delayed by an hour, the flight is delayed by 2 hours, the flight is delayed here, and here's the thing, right? They have zero intention of taking off. Zero. It'd be like me coming in here and going, yeah, we're going to have so-and-so on the show today, and I'm just kind of pretending with you. And Brian and I know that the guy's never going to show up. That's what the airlines do to people. So they canceled 32 flights, Beanstar, in Philadelphia, and they made my kids believe this was Un-American Airlines, as I'm calling them now. Un-American Airlines canceled 32 flights.
Wow.
And they made my kids believe that they were waiting on a crew to come in, or we would have gone and gotten them like at 10 o'clock at night. But God forbid you're honest with your passengers. So they had to sleep overnight on the deal, on the floor. And then getting out of there, my daughter, she flies a little bit for what she does. So she had a little priority. And she said, I'm not going to fly without my fiance. So if he can't get on, I'm not going to get on. So she didn't get on. So we had to go to the Philly airport and pick them up and drive them back to Knoxville yesterday. And it was, we only ran into 2 wrecks, Bino, 2 standstill wrecks. Got back down here last night, and here we are. It was like a 12-hour day. But they slept on the floor. I mean, they've got to feel horrible today. But, have you ever been caught in an airport like that where they lie to you? You ever been stuck in one of those deals where they act like, yeah, well, we're going to get out. We're going to get out, and it's all big game. You ever been caught in an airport like that?
Not to that extent, Tony. Been delayed, of course. Afraid I couldn't get on standby, that kind of thing. But never, fortunately, never had to sleep in one of those places.
Wild deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. And they're lying to you because they know the whole time that you're not flying out. But they play a game, and everybody plays a game, and everybody's got a game, and there's a game on, and oh, man. So there we are. So I'm back. I'm fired up, focused, and prepared. SportsGoat 54, terrible clock management by Basilio already. SportsGoat, I thank you. We support you. Heupel's disciple said, flying is amazing. You pay a small fortune to be herded like cattle. It's a small number of trips where people get where they're going in the time they need to get there. He said, I'm at the point where I just drive. Yeah, I drive. That's all. I'm a driving guy. Congratulations, Bride, to your Nashville Cats. I've got an old Arena Football League ball in here. One of my curiosities. I don't know where this one's from. This is from David Baker, the commissioner. When he was commissioner, it's signed by some people. Bronny boy, what do you got to say to that? The Cats win over the weekend for Rod in Clarksville and all those in beautiful Clarksville, Bride. Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I learned that they actually still had an Arena Football League.
Yep.
So I'm glad to see that the team in Nashville's thriving in it.
They had a goal line stand. They had a goal line stand to win. Oh, man. Whew. God, I'm tired. But isn't that funny how you can make that drive when you're a kid and it's just no problem? And then you get up the next day and you don't have a clue, right? You literally...
We're beyond the no problem stage, Tom.
American Airlines probably
never
didn't,
to return.
They had their say, and they probably had a thing to do with it being tiresome, I'd say.
865-200-5402. I thought that was Jeff Fisher's team. He's the commissioner of the league. I thought he was the commissioner of the league. Anyway, I like, the Cats playing Clarksville down there with Rod in Clarksville. So congratulations to Rod in Clarksville. I hope he was there. He was real excited about that. If you saw any of the clips of that goal line stand, that place was filled. The arena they have down there, Brian. What's that arena hold?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't know Clarksville had a arena they could play a team play in.
So here's where I'm at. the run up to the first scrimmage, this whole camp is about what, Bino? What's this really about?
First and foremost, who's going to play quarterback?
That's it. And really, that's the only thing. And by the way, I owe you a basketball report. I'm going to do a video. I got kind of, what's the word? Sidetracked last week on my vacation. Something went down. So I owe you one, to quote the 76ers from summer of 1977. We owe you one. That was after they lost to the Portland Trailblazers, who apparently are about to be sold and moved. The Portland Trailblazers might get moved out of Portland. It isn't anything.
Oh, no.
Isn't anything sacred anymore? Isn't anything? Tom Dundon is purchasing them. Who owns the team in owns the Carolina Whaler Canes? How fired up, Bri, are you right now that we're like 19 days out? What's your level of pump right now? Give me a total.
Well, I just need something on my TV that is something I can watch from start to finish. There's nothing currently that I can do that with.
Well, you missed it last night. The Union beat McKenza last night over on Apple TV in front of about 500 people in Philly. I was fired up, folks. I listened to the first half of it, watched the second half of it, and Laura goes, "Why?" Like that to me. Fleet Pete says, "Bri, you can read a book between now and then." Interesting. Okay, so here we are.
What is a book?
I'm pretty fired up, focused, and prepared. All right, Bino. So the Throat today has provided a guide for us. He calls it Hopium Nopium. And by the way, on the basketball report that I owe you, the basketball team just got intriguing with that acquisition last week. I still can't get over this. I still can't. And the other thing in the background we're going to talk about today, and we're going to talk about that this week as well, is this Petiti guy is literally running circles around Greg Sankey. Before we get to UT's camp, I want you to be abreast of this, okay? Greg Sankey has had his, dare I say, ass kissed for forever since he's gotten the job. And really, he's kind of like one of these athletic directors at one of these schools. These people, like Bino says, are crack dealers. And we're always going to buy what they're selling. And they're always going to get worshipped. And really, they're just somebody that's in the chair that's affiliated with something we love. Like a sacred trust almost. Is that a fair way of putting that, Bino? In your mind, is that a fair
well,
way?
It's, as you said, I've certainly referred to them as that in the past.
So that's where we are there. Greg Sankey. But I want to get to a couple things on this Petiti guy, because the Athletic did a huge spread on this Petiti guy, and I apologize to you. These are things I didn't know that I should have known about him, and I apologize to you. So he comes from Major League Baseball, and he's used to high-level negotiations and dealing with billionaires and reading a room and bringing a room to a consensus that kind of makes sense for everybody. Let's back up here. Petiti, the SEC moved to 9 league games because our commissioner somehow got the indication by Petiti that they were going to go to a deal where each of those teams was rewarded with 4 spots in a 12-team playoff or in a 16-team playoff. You remember those days, like a year and a half ago? You guys remember when that happened? Does everybody remember that? Because that is what happened. And it wasn't the league announces 9 games. All of a sudden, they're pot committed, as we say. And then all of a sudden, Petiti's out there going, well, you know what? I think we ought to go to 24 and just have it open-ended. In other words, may the best league win. May the best league get as many teams as possible in the thing. And the SEC oddly doesn't want to do that. Now, I say oddly, I go back and forth on this. I kind of agree that it should stay at 16. It really should stay at 12. 12 is a good number because 12 is an accomplishment to make the playoffs. 12 is an accomplishment. 16's bordering on too many, and 24 is kind of absurd. 24, the Vols are in the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, every year. Maybe 5 out of 5 years, and if you miss the playoffs on a 2014 playoff, you get fired. That's almost where you are with a 2014 playoff. But let's go back. So this Petitti guy, Bino, were you aware that he spearheaded the Major League Baseball's last round of playoff expansion?
I had no idea, Tony.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing we don't know that? That's something that should be known about him. Because The Athletic makes the point that the last go-around, here's what he did with baseball. The last go-around, what Petitti initially proposed, and Bino, I remember this, he proposed 7 playoff teams in each league with the number 2 seed choosing its first-round opponent. Do you remember that, Bino? Remember how they talked about how that number 2 seed would get to choose which of those wild card teams that they get to play? And then the other ones play like in a 1-game playoff. Do you remember that at all? That
I do have some memory of that, yes.
So the majority of the owners liked it, but not enough liked it for it to pass. So Petitti went, okay, what we'll do is we'll go 6 playoff teams in each league with the top 2 receiving byes. Petitti got Greg Sankey to go to 9 games. These are facts now. He got Greg Sankey to go to 9 games and then pulled the wool over his eyes. So last summer, Petitti pushed for a 16-team college football playoff, mostly with automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten and the SEC. So the other leagues then get to fight over a couple spots, and that thing drew incredibly heavy resistance. Like, hey, we're going to go to Congress, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. So he said, okay, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go to 24 then. And that's why we're on a 2014 playoff. Now, his argument is, like the baseball playoff, and I can only speak for myself, I am not as invested in the baseball regular season now that they've turned it into a playoff sport. It truly is like watching college baseball, except it means a lot less per game than watching college baseball, because at least in college baseball, there's tension there as to whether or not you qualify for the tournament in a league like the SEC. So every game matters. Truly, in Major League Baseball right now, there are so many teams that make the playoffs when you're a have like the Phillies, like the Yankees, like the Red Sox, etc. Of course, the Mets are a government program. They spend all their money and they get stupid results. I mean, they might as well be like in Department of Education or something. You know what I mean? Like there's no helping the mess. Anyway, here's what Petitti is going to be selling later in the week. This is the Athletic thing. This is what he shifted his focus to. He's a smart guy. He's outworked the SEC commissioner. The SEC commissioner could be a bulwark here and stop this and say, hey, you know what? We're stopping at 16. You're not going to get our vote. But he might get rooked into this by the other leagues. Petitti is selling, Bino, that the 2014 playoff keeps more teams in the hunt throughout November, which will in turn lead to fuller stadiums and ultimately higher television ratings. Now, do you think he's right? Living listener, do you think that's right? If we went to a 2014 playoff It would lead to fuller stadiums and higher television ratings. Is that right? Because really, this is about television. Or or is it going to do what it's done with me in baseball, which is I follow my team day in and day out. I listened to the Sillies yesterday. They almost got swept by. They came within a whisker. I told you people a couple months ago, and you were telling me them the Phillies had their little run, and the Braves were in trouble. I told you the Braves were not in trouble. I told you that. The Phillies might not even make the playoffs. And I should be really interested in it, but I hate this team they have. They're stupid. It's a stupid baseball team. But that's beside the point. I find myself less invested in Major League Baseball because it's a playoff sport now. That's me. Bino, let's focus on baseball for a second because Petitti's the guy that did this to Major League Baseball. And he's going to turn around, and because our commissioner is so weak, he's probably going to end up doing it to college football. So let's start with the baseball model, Bino. Do you like the format more now that more teams make the playoffs, or are you against it? Where are you on that?
Tony, I don't find myself any less invested in day-to-day baseball because the playoffs were expanded. It's just always kind of been the heartbeat of summer to me.
Yep.
I mean, you know, and I've been a fan when only one team from each league made the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was you won your league to have any postseason play at all? I came up during a time when there were only two teams from each league that made the postseason. I can't imagine that there's less interest out there in day-to-day baseball now that more teams have a chance later in the year to see their team get into postseason play. I would think that model would have more widespread interest day to day than less.
They're surging, Bino. Baseball's surging under this format.
I think 24 teams is too many in college football.
Yes.
I believe that certainly will be another step in diminishing the regular season. However, when you're only playing one game a week, like college football does, it's hard not to stay invested in that when you like college football.
So this Petitti guy is a real living, breathing sports administrator. Unlike the guy that gets worshipped at the Southeastern Conference just because they worship him. This guy actually, in 2022, had to maneuver and move behind the scenes, and he's the reason. He's the reason now for the baseball season and the expanded playoff that Bino doesn't hate. And to Bino's point, and look, we're all different. Like, I'm going to stand with Matt Dixon. 24 is too many. I go back and forth on it, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking what it's done to me in baseball. But then again, we're at a 9-3 school. We're an 8-4, 9-3 historical school. I should be in favor of that, Bino, shouldn't I? I mean, we're like a semi-have in college football.
Yeah, yes. When we put on our Tennessee glasses, we definitely should be for an expanded playoff.
I want 16 just to get rid of the stupid buys. I don't like the buys. I don't like teams 5 through 8 getting to play at home while the teams 1 through 4 don't get to play at home. Yeah. That's goofy to me. So I want 16. I don't want to go past that, but I want more teams just to get rid of that stupid format.
You know, I
agree with that, Brian. I think 16 is perfect. I don't know, the earlier projections of 16, somehow they still had buys in, which only college football could do. But
that's what it ought to be. If I'm Sankey, I say, look, I'm not signing off on anything other than a 16-team deal, and why wouldn't the SEC and the Big Ten bet on themselves? You know, the thing I don't understand about this whole thing is if these two leagues are going to have all the money, like one league has all the money, right? It's what we're being told. The Big Ten, they got all the money. And like the Athletic article goes on to say, hey, look, the Big Ten's a behemoth. They've got the best TV contract. They've got the most gold, so to speak. But the SEC has all the players. Because the SEC has a proximity to all the players. These are facts now. For the Big Ten to be great, the Big Ten has to recruit in the SEC's footprint. Am I lying? No. Big Ten's got to go to Texas. Big Ten's got to go to Florida. Big Ten's got to go to some of these other states and pull kids out of it. You know, I mean, come on, let's get real here. Georgia, let's keep it real. Come on, wow. So, but the Big Ten's got money, and they got programs with money, and everybody's got bells and whistles. Damn, I look good today, man. I got a nice little tan. I look good, Bino. You'd be proud of me. I clean up nicely. So, but then we're back here to this. This Petiti guy knows what he's doing. And Greg Sankey doesn't. And Greg Sankey is our bulwark. He's our firewall, whatever term you want to use. Bino, now knowing that Petiti is the guy that maneuvered through baseball and got those owners to agree on something, which those owners can't agree on anything. And Bino knows that from following that sport, and so do I. You can't get those guys to agree literally on anything, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. So here's a question for you. It's a very simple question. Who you betting on, Bino? Team Petiti or Team Ever Tried Sankey?
I think what I've seen over the last couple of years, Tony, and from what you've just told me, I'm betting on Petiti.
That's what the Athletic says.
But I mean, the SEC and the Big Ten don't bet on anything, Tony.
Why don't they bet on themselves? Why don't they bet on themselves?
Because they're the house. They don't need to bet. It's all the other leagues that they've maneuvered into a position where they don't bet. They're the house. They just collect.
Brian, do you get what Bino's saying, that they're the house? Do you understand what that means?
Well, they're at the top. I mean, they know they're there at the top, so they're secure in what their place is.
They're the sports book, Tony. Everybody else is in there betting. They're just dragging money.
So a 16 or a 2014 playoff, where are you on that? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Petiti or Ever Tried Sanka? And who you for? Who do you want to win this thing? Who's right? Petiti or Sankey? The other thing I want to discuss with you is this whole concept of, and it's interesting, right? This camp, and I want to get to some of the things that the Throat wrote. So we're going to weave these two subjects into each other. Brian, you want 16. Bino, what do you want? If ultimately I said I make you the czar, what do you want?
I want 16 as well. If it's a straight 16 team bracket,
right,
played the way it's supposed to be played,
right,
and I want all the first round games to be on college sites.
What would be
8 college site games?
I wonder if Petiti threw the 24 out there to force everybody into the 16. I wonder if that's the point. And I wonder if those two leagues, since they're afraid to bet on themselves, let me put it to you this way. You think about this for a second. You're the SEC, okay? And damn, this is a good show. I miss this show, man. I miss being in here. This is fun. Bino, say you're the SEC, and why would I need 4 automatic bids if I think of myself as a 5 or a 6 league bid league anyway? Why wouldn't I just structure this so that it's the top 16 teams and we get 5 or 6 every year. Let me ask you something. If this was college baseball and they offered that proposal to Sankey with no qualifiers, just the top 16 teams, would he blanch at that? No, because they'd have 10 teams. What are we afraid of? What are these two leagues afraid of, Bino? They afraid of somebody from the ACC rising up? What are they? Seriously, I'm just asking for a friend. Like, what are we afraid of here?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Tony, because I think both of those leagues, year in, year out, whether you guarantee them or not, are going to have 4 slots. Bottom. I mean, that's the least they're going to have is 4 slots. So I'm not really sure.
But why do they need 4 slots? Yeah, and that's my point. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a year, okay? There's never going to be a year where the SEC or Big Ten will not spend to have at least 4 slots in a 16-team playoff. That feels like, when you talk that out, that feels impossible that could happen. And most years, they're going to have 5 or 6. If you go a straight 16-team playoff, and look, you can't go back against history and do this because they weren't competing for that. That's why all this stuff, well, if we had a 16-team playoff 10 years ago, this is what it, well, I mean, okay, that's fine, but that's not what people were competing for. Back then, you finish 16th, and then you make the Peach Bowl, and who the hell cares? You see what I'm saying? It's not the same thing. It's beyond apples and oranges. It's not even something that you care about. So I sit here today. This is a really, really, really interesting spot that we're in, watching these two behemoths fight it out. And I'm going to remind you, Petitti is the guy. Petitti is the guy that got the Major League Baseball owners to jump. 865-200-5402 is my number. I want to talk about that with you today. This whole, because they're getting ready to meet again. And you're going to hear news come out of it. And Sankey's going to have his spinmeisters in the media who are going to sing for their dinner, and rightfully so. He's a powerful man. And Petitti's probably more powerful than he is now, truth be told. And they did a profile on this Petitti guy's a Brooklyn guy. He's kind of a streetwise guy. He's sort of a, he's an up by the bootstraps guy. His dad drove like a milk truck or something. He didn't come from anything. But hey, Sankey's climbed mountains and brought a camera crew with him. You got to give him that. This guy's climbing all over him, okay? This guy's climbing on him like he's one of those kids' toys. I mean, Sankey might as well put pegs on himself, going up and down his body. This guy's climbing on him like a damn jumping jack, like the monkey bars. They still have those in the playgrounds, Bino, where the kids grab and you're going up here, and because kids don't even know it, but you're brachiating your shoulder, you're opening up your shoulder joint, which is the way it ought to be. You'll be able to do that. We're made to do that. That's why you have shoulder pain and neck pain. Open up those shoulders, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all. Open them up. I say open those shoulders. Anything else, Bino and Bri, you two clowns want to get into today? And by the way, here's another thing Petitti's saying, and Vol Girl's right about this. Petitti is saying the bowl games, one of his arguments are the bowl games are dead. Nobody cares about them. Let's quit pretending. And that's why he wants 24 teams. Bino, on that end, he is right. I will put one in his column for that. The bowl games almost are borderline meaningless, except for us that are degenerates right now.
Yes. I mean, it's another game to watch and bet on, Tony.
We have commissioner on commissioner heat here. Commissioner Bockwinkel says Petitti ain't worth a patootie. Heather Dinich just reported that there's a compromise out there for a 20-team playoff. See, that's what I'm telling you. This Petitti guy's smooth now. And see, Brian and Bino, that would give you the 8 AQs, and then 4 teams get placed to the next round, or however they would structure that. You guys work that out, you and W or Lynn. I can't. My feeble human mind, okay, cannot compute a 20-team playoff and how you would structure that. I guess you would make how many buys would you give, Bino, in a 20-team playoff?
12.
You can't give 12 buys. You have to have inventory. You got to play games. You have to have a first round.
You have to have like
Tony. You got
some teams would have double buys, wouldn't they?
If you do it, yeah, probably. If you do it the way it's supposed to be, a true bracket, Tony, you run it up to 32. That means you got 12 buys. That means you got four games where teams are playing to get into the bracket.
What? Fleet Pete says 4 buys. I like his math better. Why wouldn't you just have 4 buys?
Again, you'd have to have double buys if you do that.
Danny Sherry
The only
Curls,
way to make the bracket even in a 20-team tournament is to have 12 buys.
Danny Sherry Curls just said 20 teams exceeded the RAM on my index card. Isn't that for W or Lynn's breath to come up with that take? Anyway, so here we are. Bino's used to this because Bino's used to softball tournaments. You heard him, and structuring things. Bino spit that out. All right, Bino, explain 20 teams to me. How would they do the format? What's your guess at what they're going to propose on 20 teams? Go ahead.
I don't know what they'll do, Tony. They likely won't give 12 buys, which makes it an even 16 team tournament after the first round. They'll probably have double buys, and they'll probably have let's see, if you had 12 yeah, I'd have to think about that.
Think about it.
They use double buys.
Think about it. And Brian, don't you think too hard about it, because it'll make your brain melt. 865-200-5402. I don't for the life of me.
I'd say, Tony, if you would likely have 4 teams with 1 bye, 4 teams with double buys, and then you play 4 first round games to get into the second round.
Somebody said if you want your team in sync in this playoff, they need 3 buys. Bye. That's so stupid.
It would take 5 weeks to play. I mean,
what are we doing? What are we doing? We're going to move the Army-Navy game for this?
So much for the college season ending before late January.
Confident, dry and secure. Raise your hand if you're sure. All right, we're going to go to the phones. We're going to get as many people in here as humanly possible. My name's Tony Basilio. This is our kingdom. Fired up, focused, prepared. 20 days away. Our first Calhoun's remote's right around the corner. I couldn't be more pumped. There was a practice over the weekend. We had eyes on it. I understand that GMAC was pretty good in Saturday's practice. Am I proclaiming that there's some kind of quarterback battle? I don't know. Like I wrote in the blog today, I have no idea. I'm going to tell you, though, that he looked better Saturday than he looked in the spring. Which I wrote, good for him, Bino, right? And Brian, and Living Vol fan. I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely a good thing, Tony. We need 2 guys that can play quality football. We need them to push each other. And as we talked about before, spring is fun, but spring ain't football.
Yep. And what they're getting ready to do, too, according to that proposal, they're getting ready to move spring to summer, which makes total sense. And in the spring, you have a gathering at some point with the kids, the team, and you have an autograph day where you can, here, there, and everywhere, allow these young men to earn NIL money signing autographs for people. Another quote-unquote reason, in quotes, to pay them. Because that's what we have to do right now. We have to pretend. Even though we all know this is pay for what? Pay for play. pay for play. Like we had James Clausen on the show a couple weeks ago, and he was like, and the way he was explaining the process to us, there's some sports washing going on, which is kind of an interesting deal. So here's what I hear about the freshman, and I'm going off a couple of VFL-ish people who were there. They say his talent is unreal. And I'm not going to get going on that stuff. I'm not going to hype a guy up. I have no idea. But he's really, 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 really talented. And he's really physically gifted for his age. So we'll see what happens. Personally, I keep talking to people that keep telling me, hey, Tony, that quarterback thing was decided and has been decided, which is why Heupel was talking the way that he was at the Birmingham deal. Heupel's not a big tell guy, but he'll give you some tells. Generally, it's not in Heupel's nature to say something like Brandon is the first guy in, last guy to leave. Would we all agree on that? Present company? That's generally not Heupel's nature to say something like that. Is that a tell? Feels like a tell. Feels like a tell. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402, the number. Again, 865-200-5402. I'll tell you how roached I am, and then we'll go to the phones. Bino, I brought some foodstuffs back for a friend of mine. And called him last night and said, hey, you need to get over and get the stuff. You can eat it for lunch, blah, 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 blah. So he says to me, so what's your address? And I give him my address, but my address has 4 numbers in it. He said, I just put that in my phone. Are you in South Carolina? On his Waze. I said, Laura, isn't our number, our street? She goes, what is wrong with you? I had just woken up when he called me. Have you ever done that, guys, or am I roached? Which one? Or a little bit of both?
Both.
Thank you. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. I'm pretty roached. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, my friends, compatriots, how we doing today?
Hey, what's up, W?
W. Lynn's come in with a bracket.
Well, I've drawn the 20-team bracket just like Bino says, where 8 teams have a playing game and 12 have a bye. But if you remember when they were proposing a 16-team bracket, they had 2 teams with a double or triple bye. So none of us have any idea how they would design a 20-team bracket. I don't think anybody listening could say exactly what they're going to do. Would you agree on that?
I agree.
Yes.
Because I can't see them giving 12 buys. That's what you'd do in a softball tournament, like Bino said. But I'm not good at dickering over prices or, like watching the picker show and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man says he's selling something, he says, I want $100. The other guy says, I'll give you 60. Mm-hmm. They settle at $80. That's what Petitti's done. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm going to throw out 24 and I'll get something over 16. And guess what's right in the middle? 20 teams. He was smart doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I will say this. As a Tennessee fan, last year when we lost to Oklahoma, I hated people saying it's okay, we're done, it's all over now. I do not think it would diminish the regular season because we college football fans are truly fanatic.
Yep.
It's hard to compare it to any pro sport, really. And what happens is when you lose and you're out of the playoff race, say you're Tennessee, we've sold all of our tickets. Most of the SEC teams, their tickets are sold, even if there's aluminum in the seats. But what happens is, well, we're out of the playoffs. I'll give my tickets away. Those people just show up a lot of times, go to the game, and go home. For the original owner of the ticket, he's going to go over there. He's going to tailgate. He's going to spend money within a 10-mile radius of Knoxville. And so you kind of hurt the local economy once you're out of the playoffs. I know where we go watch games. Once we lost to Oklahoma, the place wasn't packed anymore. You know, so you got to think of the local economy, and I always want to be in a playoff hunt.
So you're a more the merrier guy. You're in Petitti's court. You're the more the merrier guy.
Kind of the more for merrier. I don't want to get out of hand, but you know, I am the guy that at one time had a 32-team playoff. But I'll tell you this: in 1987, the Fiesta Bowl was here to scout us. And I met a guy, I think his name was John Junker. Mm-hmm. He was one of the big wigs on the Fiesta
him. I remember
Bowl
John
committee.
Junker. Absolutely. I remember that name.
And I asked him something. I said, I've always heard and read this. You tell me if this is true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you created the Fiesta Bowl, he was part of the creation of the Fiesta Bowl. Mm-hmm. Was it to, A, give the WAC team a champion a spot, and 2, you thought it would be part of a future playoff system? He said both are true. He said, we thought the playoffs were right around the country, and they would use the small bowls to lead up to the big bowls. So he was thinking big playoff back in the 80s, you know, when they started the Fiesta Bowl. So I think, you know, I'm looking at the attendance of us compared to the Big Ten, and I don't even want to pay attention to the ACC and the Big 12. We have most of our teams, except Vandy and Mississippi State, we come close to filling our stadiums.
W. I want to read something. I want to read something to you since you brought John Junker up. Longtime Fiesta Bowl chief executive. This is March 13 of 2014. This is, I think, relevant to our conversation today.
Okay.
Former longtime Fiesta Bowl chief executive sentenced 8 months in federal prison Thursday after acknowledging he participated in an illegal campaign contribution scheme. John Junker sentenced after pleading guilty to 2 years conspiracy charge in a scheme in which bowl employees made illegal campaign contributions to politicians and were reimbursed by the nonprofit bowl. So they were funneling funny money through their nonprofit bowl system. Look, this is the truth about all this stuff, okay? We want to believe that all these things are on the up and up, but there's all kinds of politics involved in this stuff. Now, I want you guys to think for a second. Do you guys really think the bowl system is going to let themselves die without fighting for their seat at the table? Bino and W. Lynn and Brian and the living listener. Do we really think that's the case?
No.
No. Do you, Bino? You think that the guy down there in Stokeham, down there in Atlanta, who gets high on his own supply, do you think that? Well, I guess they're already a part of the playoffs.
Huh?
Will they lay them into the playoff? Are they going to pull these playoffs off these home campuses and make a compromise with these bowl games if they go to 24? Is that possible, y'all? That could happen? Thus getting the season ticket holder, W. Lynn already cited, the fan of these sports will travel to these games. They've already shown that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What happens to the bowl games?
I think the ones that are currently ingrained in the playoffs obviously will stay.
Yep.
With maybe a couple of additions once it's expanded. And the rest will go about their business the way they've been going about their business, which is basically putting on an exhibition game.
Mm-hmm. Some bowls they've kind of come and gone for decades now. We've seen bowls pop up and then go away, and then new bowls take their place. So I don't know if that can sustain itself.
Junker received cars, high-end country club memberships, $33,000 birthday party in Pebble Beach, $1,200 for a trip to a strip club, among other benefits during his time at the Fiesta Bowl. You think these people, for 1 second, are going to stop the gravy train so we can better the sport of college football? That's what you're dealing with here. This guy got caught. You think he's the only one that was doing this stuff? And then funneling money to politicians. Why is he funneling money? Because it increases the strength of his spot. You got to make the politicos happy. W. Lynn will tell you, when he's at the press box at UT all those years, you'd see the elected officials. You think these people are paying their way into that stadium while you are? You got another thing coming.
The Fiesta Bowl that day had 4 or 5 guys in those gold coats.
Thank you.
And I'm thinking, how much do those 4 or 5 guys make a year?
And then they went out that night.
My wife was a teacher. They probably made 10 times more than her.
W. Lynn, just to go watch 4 or 5 games in November, fan out across the country, and say, we'll take you. By the way.
He wasn't taking notes or anything.
God! He was probably looking at his watch, wondering when the first shift reported down there out off Lovell Road. By the looks of things.
But I will say, I'm looking at the Big Ten attendance. Now, Indiana, who's picked to come in second, they only got 52,000 a year. All of our teams are from 55 or up. Vandy's the only one, and they sell their tickets out because the opposing team takes over. Now, the Big Ten, it might increase their attendance at some of these hoopty schools. But as far as attendance goes, besides Vandy and maybe Mississippi State, most of the other schools, I've been told that if we have 100,000 people there and you divided the donations for that game with the cost of the ticket, the stuff you buy at the game, souvenirs, drinks, food, that comes to $400 a fan.
Woo!
Well, that's $40 million.
Woo!
That's $280 million for a season. The Big Ten does not make that on ticket price alone.
W.
Donations.
Lynn, the Big Ten makes its money off a huge television deal. And compare the Adidas deal that Penn State signed to the one Tennessee signed and get back to me. But I appreciate you. You're my man. Much love. Thank you. I would love to see your playoff format. I mean, the Big Ten's got some behemoth teams in it. It just does. I didn't do it. And it's huge populations and the whole thing. It ain't my cup of tea. And this Petiti guy somehow has got Greg Sankey, how do you put this? By the shorties. I mean, I don't know how to put that. Is that a tactful way of putting that, guys? Shorties? All mine are shorties. All my shorties are shorties at this point. Shorties are my shorties. Bino, do you like these days when I'm punch drunk? Are you into that or no?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up, Tone.
After this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free.
Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple.
14 flavors.
That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week.
In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors,
including peach and lemon, green tea, and half.
Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon Real Vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out.
Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, well, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 in the morning and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face-to-face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. It's pretty next level. Bino and Bry are alongside today. I tell you, the reason that we're talking about this playoff thing is because it's going to shape the sport. It's going to totally alter the sport. Right now, the object of that game is not to win a league championship. It's to qualify for the 12-team playoff and get yourself in the tournament at the end of the year. And here's the thing about a tournament. You say tomato, I say tomato, whatever. But here's the thing about a tournament. Anybody can win a tournament. Now, Tony, you mean anybody like group of five? No, they can't win the tournament. But a lot of these big league teams, like Tennessee this year, right? You get hot, you get in. Your freshman quarterback's no longer a freshman. You got a couple receivers that have really grown up. Your offensive line plays like they can. Knowles dials up a few things, and you win a playoff game. Same thing happens the next week, and, it's a close game, and this kid at quarterback makes a couple plays, and he's running around out there and leads you to another win. Listen, Oklahoma winning that baseball championship should teach us all that you get in these tournament sports. How about some of these directional schools in recent years that have made runs to the Final Four? Even during the NIL era. Dusty Mays guys. Those things aren't supposed to happen. But you never know when you get into a tournament. Hey, you play somebody close, you stay in a game, and the better team's field goal kicker misses 3 or 4 field goals in cold weather, which we've already seen that happen. Did you think – now, look, I'm not going to act like Miami was some poor team last year, but who thought Miami would come within a cat's whisker of winning the national championship last year? Bino, did you?
I did not, Tony.
And that's kind of the point here. So when you invite more teams in, people say, well, the teams up top are going to win anyway. I don't know about that. Because all of a sudden, the kids and the agents are going to say, if you go over here, they're going to make a playoff. And their offer is comparable to what we've already seen right now, how it's already hurt the top teams. I'll say to you, look at the SEC. I was talking to somebody today, said, Tony, this thing that you've talked about with how you're selling all these SEC teams, how come you're not buying anybody? And I said, well, I bought Georgia. And somebody said, well, other teams have to win. And I said, yeah, I understand that. But I don't know who's going to win. And they said, well, you're crafty. So what you're doing is you're giving Tennessee fans hope. I said, no, I'm giving everybody hope. I'm not giving just Tennessee fans hope. I mean, hell, Florida can make a run this year. I don't know. I don't see why Texas is so worthy of being crowned right now. They've got question marks. I mean, these so-called have teams, and play the tape out, okay? Let's say, and if you want to join us, as W. Lynn did earlier on our high noon hotline, give us a call at 865-200-5402. You take that thing to 16 or 20 teams, the playoff, and you're really, really radically altering college football. Because for the 20 teams that are in it, there are 10 more teams that will chase to get in it, or 15 more teams. So now all of a sudden, if I go to 20, okay, I've got 35 or 40 teams that think they're alive to get in. Which means when nut cutting time comes, I'm going to spend the money to position myself to get in that tournament. The agents and the athletes, I can tell you right now, want this expanded playoff. It creates, and they're not even a unified block, so they don't even think in this form and fashion. But I know this, guys, if I were in that game, I would want an expanded playoff. And then what happens is, see, this young linebacker from Tennessee that just got hurt, one of the terrible benefits, and this is the way schools think now, if a guy gets hurt and he's not seen, okay, and you know he can play, like Tennessee knows this guy can play, he was going to have a spot on the roster. So they know he can play. But one of the things, read the blog today, Brent CV3. That's who got hurt over the weekend. But one of the things, and you can read us at tclub.team. It's there for you, or tonybasilio.com. Pick your poison. But one of the benefits is I don't have to worry about somebody signing him off my roster next year. If you open this thing up, Bino, to 20 teams, okay, aren't there more teams trying to buy players off your roster if you're the Vols?
More than is going on right now, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah, because
I don't know.
You have a 12-team
I don't know
tournament.
how it can get more wide open than it is right now. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. It won't make it any less, that's for sure. And Jaden Harmon is who got hurt, Tony.
Harmon, yeah.
Harmon,
yeah. And he's a nice player. They liked him as a freshman. He's a nice player. The thing about the linebacker position for Tennessee is it's the one area where you could afford to have something like that happen. But I hate it for him because he's, by all accounts, a really good kid who works very hard. And to get hurt in camp that early before you even get an opportunity to really compete after all the work you've got to do to put yourself in a position to do that really sucks. It really sucks. All right, let me keep it legal.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
So here we are. I'm a believer that if they expand the playoff field, it makes the sport crazier than it already is. Because now all of a sudden it opens up the sport for more anarchy. More anarchy. But then again, you could take the basketball argument and say, well, Tony, if that's the case, then why are there only like 20 or so teams really spending on college basketball right now? A good example of that is now universities are choosing, the middle tier universities, which sport do I want to compete in? Because if you're a mid-major school, why would I compete in football? What's the point? I can't. I eliminate the G5 team, Bino. I've seen enough to know they can't win a national championship. There's no way at a G5 school you could ever accumulate enough talent to win a national championship. A Liberty, for instance, would have to spend $50 million on the sport to do that. I just don't think that's going to happen.
No, I agree, Tony. It is not going to happen.
So.
They're basically, more than ever before, they are the proving ground to move to Power 4 conference teams.
Yep. And that's how, and that's kind of become their role, if you know what I mean. So let's get to what Orange Throat wrote about Tennessee today. And then tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to have something for the Hoops fans. I'm also going to do a video, but I've got a couple of potential lineups and different things that Tennessee could do from here. And this could be and could get really, really interesting. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, like and subscribe to us. You're going to want to, because you're going to want to get notified when we drop those videos into your feed. And I'm going to start doing more of those. So I was waiting until I got back. And it's going to be presented by our friends at Mortgage Investors Group, the great Gary Sturm, who I loved and who served us all these years. Gary and I went to school together. He remembers when I ran for president over there. He was reminding me of that when he helped us out recently with a mortgage. And he said, Basilio, I remember you. wanting better seats in the arena for the students, and you had the Bow shuttle, and you were driving people back and forth from in a pickup truck back and forth from the hill, ride the shuttle, and you would sit out there and talk to people, and I was just making fun of the whole thing. Not me, Bino. Not me ending up in something anti-establishment. That's not my it's not my nature, is it, Bino?
Stunning. That's stunning, Tony.
19 days out. Here we are. It just starting to feel like football season. We got out of the car in the middle of Virginia yesterday, and it had just rained where we were, and it was 66 degrees outside. And it was raw. It was raw feeling. And it felt like, football. Just fall. You could feel it. You could feel it. And somebody going to field this. All right, let's move along. We're going to play a little game. You tell me which side of the fence you fall on. Throat brought up several points of hope and several points of nope. All right? He calls it hopium
and nopium.
Hopium and nopium. And
it's a great format.
All right, here we go. Hopium. Tennessee offensive line unit looks on paper like the best in Josh Heupel's 6 years in Knoxville. And it's going to be the best. This will be the best offensive line Josh Heupel has had in his 6 years in Knoxville. Nopium. By the way, Negative, you get in line for the nopium. Moving along. Nopium. Glenn Ellerbe hasn't recruited an NFL offensive lineman in his 6 years. Darnell Wright was a Pruitt-era recruit, but David Sanders should break that streak. But Ellerbe's lines play down in the moment. Bino and Brian and living listener, are you in the hopium or the nopium?
I'm in the hopium column on this one, Tony. I think we're going to have a solid veteran offensive line that performs.
Brian?
I am hoping in that. Yes, I hope here.
So you guys are more in the hopium camp than the nopium camp, all right?
Yes.
Here's my thing. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these categories. And if Tennessee hits on 5 of the 6, they'll be a playoff contender. This is the biggie. This is the one that absolutely has to come to be. Maybe the first 2 are the most important. And then the other ones you can kind of piecemeal together. Hopium. Faison Brandon should be one of the best true freshman quarterbacks in the country this season and should be a difference maker. Nopium. On the nopium side when it comes to quarterback. We're all aware of the difficulties starting a youngster in this league can be, especially now. The portal allows you to add veteran, hairy-chested men, shout out to an old King Johnny saying, to your defense. So the nopium side of things is, yeah, the kid's a good, solid, young quarterback, and good player. But the problem is that he's going to be chased by mostly 21 and 22-year-old guys all over the league. And they're going to hit him, and they're going to put him on the ground, and all that comes with that. Bino, are you a hopium or nopium guy when it comes to the quarterback position? And if it comes to this, starting a young kid out there.
I'm in the nopium side, Tony. I think Faison Brandon's going to be a really good quarterback. I hope it's here. I just think it's just too difficult a league to come in your first year and shine in. So I'm Nopium.
Brian Hartman.
I have Hopium because Heupel never has really bad quarterback play, and this kid is physically gifted. He's been over there on campus soaking everything in.
That's right.
I'm going to have. He's been there first in, last out. He's been over there all, I guess, since spring.
Yeah.
I'll go with Hopium.
One thing I'm not going to ever do is go crazy for a young quarterback till I see him play. And that goes for the GMACs of the world, this guy, until you see him play, I'm staying agnostic on the whole thing, right? However, this guy physically, Brian said something there that I want to just stick a pin in. Physically, this guy does not look the part of a true freshman. This guy physically reminds me of Jamal Lewis. And I don't say that much, okay? But when Jamal Lewis walked off the bus, that's what this guy physically looks like. This guy physically, not the total package, but physically, okay? This guy looks like already a veteran high-level quarterback in terms of, and GMAC looks like a little, like a little kid compared to him. And I'm not knocking GMAC. It is what it is. I didn't do it. Bino, how do you retort to what Brian said? You're skeptical, and by the way, rightfully so. True freshman quarterback in this league, hairy-chested men. You got NFL players in this league on defense chasing you. That's the moral of this story. And when you play some of these have teams, like when you play the Texas Longhorns, you better damn believe there are a bunch of NFL players over there chasing you around.
I don't have any retort to Brian. I hope he's correct. He makes good points. I'm just thinking more of processing everything mentally more than physically.
Because what these guys do at this level is they speed you up. Obviously, in NFL football, they really speed you up. But at this level, and you can try to prepare a kid for that, and you're going to have your walk in the park game at first game. You're going to have wide open space to throw the ball in and tons of time to get it out. Hey, when they go play Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech knows there's a freshman quarterback out there, and they get an opportunity to, and Georgia Tech's not. That's a game at the line of scrimmage Tennessee should win. Matt Dixon, rightfully so, says you're not going to scare me by talking about playing an ACC opponent, because we've seen that in recent years. But the one thing I will say about Georgia Tech is they're not a garden variety Atlantic Coast Conference team. They're more of a team built on. They're more of a team that's built on toughness than anything. Some of these other teams we've played have been kind of, finesse, and you shove them around the line of scrimmage, and you beat them, and you blow them out, and blah, 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 blah. So they've got a first-year defensive coordinator named Jason Seymour. So he's returned back to Georgia Tech as the new defensive coordinator. So that's where, and he's entering his 20th season coaching college football. And this guy's been around the block a time or two. He was with Tom Marine's Southern Miss boys last year. But he's been around the block. So it's interesting that a lot of his coaching, Southern Miss, Marshall, Valdosta State, Montana State. Brian, he was at the Colorado School of the Mines in Adams State. Adams State, Gino.
John Adams State.
Yes.
So that's a new team John Adams has to start following.
Well,
Adams State.
I have to make John Adams. I have to bring him abreast of that. But anyway, Bino, do you buy that Tennessee will rip Georgia Tech limb from limb, or do you buy that Georgia Tech will have something for the freshman quarterback? Which one? Because they weren't very good last year defensively, Beanstar, even though they are a tough football team.
I believe that'll be a difficult game for Tennessee. I don't believe Georgia Tech will be as good this year as they were last year. I'm glad we're going down now rather than last year or the last couple of years.
Yep.
But at Grant Field, the first real test for either of our young quarterbacks, I think that'll be a competitive football game.
Brian, where is the School of the Mines?
I want to say like Steamboat Springs, maybe. Seems like that's
before we get back to this exercise, Brian, the Colorado School of the Mines, and what would their what do you think their mascot is?
Probably a miner, like a coal miner, like a gold cave miner or something.
Bino, the country singer, the coal miner's daughter. Why does that escape me right
Loretta
now?
Lynn.
Thank you.
Loretta Lynn.
I bet you they fell to pieces on defense, Bino. That's
I'd
a
say
Patsy
the School
Cline
of the
song.
Mines would be the Prospectors.
That's Patsy Cline fell to pieces.
I know. Damn it. I stepped on my own bit. Brian,
it's in the Golden, Colorado, where Coors is headquartered.
There you go. I didn't know my what am I doing here? My address, zip code.
That'd be kind of a cool place to go to school at, I think.
Where is it, Brian?
Golden, Colorado. I could do that.
Back to our phones we go. Golden, Colorado. All right. Somebody
just
said
west of Denver, close to where the Red Rocks are.
Somebody said Steamboat Springs, home of Uncle Vern. Who's Uncle Vern? Is that Vern Lundquist?
That's Vern Lundquist lives in Steamboat Springs.
Oh. By the way, I saw where, what was the defensive coordinator, Brian? We saw his name last week. You sent it in a group text. He used to be at Georgia. He was really hot at one time. And he got some...
Todd Grantham.
And where is Grantham now?
He's at UAB, I think.
Thank you. These guys that we're making rich would coach for nothing. Jeremy Pruitt, high school football. I've told you, and for some reason, we've got this inflated whatever we're doing in college football. All right, let's move along. Hopium or nopium? We got the Brandon. We're divided in here on that. I don't know how to feel about Faison Brandon. Somebody evoked the name when I talked about how physically gifted this guy is. You would have been for Brandon Stewart back in the day. Wait a second. Are you comparing GMAC to Peyton Manning? Somebody's in our group chat, acting like this is a quarterback battle. Okay, have it your way. Sure. I'm not saying...
I do love that.
Yeah.
I believe Faison is as physically ready as any high school quarterback we've signed in years and years.
Yes.
Much more ready than Garantano was. Much more ready than Nico. He looks physically prepared for what he's about to face.
No doubt about it. Now, but like Bino said, when they get him out there, and you get against these elite teams, like he gets on the field with Texas and they speed him up, they can make you look like a freshman very quickly. Julian saying last year, was he a redshirt freshman? No, he's a redshirt, right? And Texas sped him all up last year. And Arch Manning, he was on the campus for 3 years, and Ohio State made him look like he was 17. So I want everybody just kind of to do this. Here's the thing about it, though. Here's the thing about it. You're in a league right now where I think there's some room to grow. I'm not buying the top teams in the league. Georgia's not on our schedule. Is that bluster from me 20 days out, Bino, or is that kind of the way you feel? I think there's some room to grow in this league for this team this year. I think there's some opportunity there.
I don't know why when the schedule first came out, I looked at it and thought, man, this is really, really a daunting schedule. And it is a tough schedule.
Yes.
But I don't feel like I feel like it's more navigable than I did at the time when it was announced.
All right.
We'll see if that's we'll see if that's orange colored glasses stuff or if it turns out to be right.
Our third exercise of the Hopium Nopium. Hopium. We're all aware of the difficult. Oh, I'm sorry. Hopium. Jim Knowles should have a much better defense than that wretched group Tim Banks put on the field last season. Insiders think edge coach LaVorne Harbin was awful, and he and Rodney Garner weren't on the same page. Tennessee was 15th in the league last year, by the way, in run defense. I love Coach Chop, though, because here's my favorite thing. I just want a little side note, and then we'll do the exercise. You recruiting worshipers that worship these coaches because they can recruit players, when they have a big fat stack of money and the University of Tennessee tradition and name behind them, but you worship Chop, 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 gotta get Chop, gotta get Chop, gotta get Coach Chop, gotta get Coach Chop, 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 Chop.
Brian Niedermeyer. Need I say more?
Thank you, Brian. Niedermeyer. And then you get Chop out there. Chop, 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 chop. You get Chop out there, and they can't wait to chop him at the end of the year.
Chopping block.
Could not wait to chop him. I started hearing from people, this guy doesn't know. He doesn't know that position from the first, as they say in the trade. But you worshiped him. And some of you know who you are. And I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking right into your soul. Coach Chop, Coach Chop, 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 Chop. Yeah, he's great. Until you try to get him to coach a position. He doesn't know enough X's and O's to play tic-tac-toe. Moving along. Hopium. Jim Knowles should have a much. I just read that. All right, so we know Knowles versus the guy that's at Auburn right now. As John Adams calls him, Tim Banks. Banks. How's he say it, Bri? Banks. Bang. He's got a great way of saying his name.
Tim Banks.
Banks.
Tim Banks.
Banks. He gets like a Y in there. Nopium. Nopium. There's the lingering notion that it takes 2 seasons. It takes till season 2 for Knowles' schemes to work to the fullest. Although Knowles thinks he's mitigated that by bringing in assistants and players from Penn State. Are the 2026 Vols going to be good enough up front to plug up the run game much better? Because truly last year, and Thrody's right about this, last season, I mean, the Vols weren't very good in their secondary, but it was anytime I need yards on the ground, I'm getting yards on the ground. Bino, are you in the Hopium or Nopium side?
I'm on the Hopium side, Tony. I do believe that bringing several staff members and several former players with him accelerates the process. And I just think it's so much of an upgrade from what we had at the defensive coordinator slot last year. Hopium.
Brian Hartman?
It might take 2 years, but anything is going to be better than what we saw last year, I would think. So I'll say Hopium.
What do we need out of that defense as a position statement, as a radio show, to call this a successful season? Where in the SEC do we need that defense to be? Because they were way on down there last year. I don't know what the final number was. Somebody can spit that out to me. That traffic's in the numbers. Can we get to the top 40? Can we get to 40? See, here's the other thing. I'm just thinking out loud here. If Bino's right and you have a young quarterback, which means you're not going to possess the ball. You're going to have some 3 and outs. You're going to put some pressure on that defense. I would say that's probably I'd say it's probably a legitimate thought. Or even if you're scoring fast and Heupel's offense, even if the quarterback's a real hit and the offense is a real hit, you're going to score fast. The one thing I cling to, the hope I cling to is that you got an adjuster at both lines of scrimmage that have already been in that defense that can act as coaches on the field. Plus, you brought coaches with you. Maybe that gives you a year one jump. Then again, the lack of a real defensive end is a little bit scary with what's happened to Coleman. I mean, a real front line. Now, maybe somebody emerges. But I think it's a 6-7 deal. I really do. I think this thing is kind of 670. Bino, where are you? I mean, there's good arguments to be made both ways, isn't there? What's the number we need to be for the thing to be successful?
I think this team needs to be a top third scoring defense in the league, Tony. Somewhere around 5-6 in the league in scoring as a defense to give our young quarterback a chance to develop as the season goes along.
What do you think, Brian? What's the number?
I think they need to at least push getting into the top 50 total defense in the country. I'll take a nationwide view of it. And that probably would put a mid-pack of the SEC.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that, and this is just me, they can't help but improve. Then again, this guy did overload his team last year at Penn State. There's no denying, and it's ironic, but the game that ultimately ended up costing the head coach's job, Franklin, was Nico running all over them. And I don't know what the adjusters on that day were looking at, but Nico was adjusting them. That was the craziest. That might have been one of the most insane games of the entire season last year. And it happened to the guy that's our defensive coordinator who's in the spot right now. And he had better players than he has here on that defense, material-wise. I mean, there were NFL draft picks on that team. Is that not the most mystifying? Is that not college football, guys, in a nutshell, that game?
It is.
They had zero, and I mean zero answers for Nico. Nico turned into Michael Vick. He was running all over the place. It was unbelievable. All right, let's get a brief timeout. Then we'll get some calls, and I want to hear from you. We have a lot to talk about today. And very little time to get there after this. Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And
what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy? You gaining weight? Or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free.
Personally, I'm partial to black cherry and pineapple.
14 flavors.
That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week.
In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors,
including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half.
Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out.
Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at PipeWrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
I want to shout out the Lady Vol soccer team who had a scrimmage yesterday in their Adidas uniforms. And John Sartori put this out there. Man, their uniforms are incredible looking. Go! I mean, let's go. 865-200-5402. Okay, so here's the deal, Benny Hill. Just a couple things that have happened while we've been on the air here. And this is fun. Till it's not. But the Protect College Sports Act, this is just broken here in the last little bit. I love the circus around major college sports. I mean, because that's what it is. And these people have made their bed and they're going to lie in it, you know? The Protect College Sports Act, this is Ross Dellinger, couldn't beat the Senate clock. While a bill is a guaranteed vote in September, it must now survive 5 more weeks of scrutiny. Meanwhile, the conferences may pivot to either plan B or plan C. And here's what the conferences want. The conferences don't want the federal government anywhere near limiting how many teams they can grow to. We're back to this in the playoffs, okay? I'll agree to expand my playoffs if you want to do that, but I want a guaranteed number of teams in. Why? Why should you get a guarantee? What, you're the SEC and the Big Ten. Why? I thought you guys are the best leagues. And as Bino said, why would the House give odds? They're the House. You know, that's a good point. So, the Big Ten, they've won three straight college football championships. And before that, who won all the championships? Oh, the SEC. So, Bino, you're right. That is the House, right? Those two leagues together represent the House.
Together.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. All right, let's go to the phones. 865 200 5402. Viking Vol for life. Let me do something with Viking Vol for life. Viking Vol for life. I'm getting ready to put you in the penalty box, bro. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go to the phones. We're making our way through Orange Throats, Hopium Nopiums. We're three through. We're 3 of 6 through. If Tennessee can get in the hope column in 5 of the 6, they're going to scratch close to a playoff spot with this team. If not, I don't know what to tell you. But let's go back to our phones and get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
What's up, Tony? It's Rusty.
Hey, Rusty. Welcome in.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, I guess I'm hopium on defense, seeing as how all you got to do is finish in the top 75 in the country, and you've made like a 25% improvement from what you were.
But what should the goal be, Rusty? Like for you to say, hey, this guy did a nice job this year.
Give me top 8, top half of the SEC.
Fair.
And top 50 in the U.S.
Fair.
Because if you're top 50 in the U.S. and you're playing SEC teams, that means you're better than like 80 of the teams.
Fair. Fair and fair.
Right. If you would have had a top 8 SEC defense last year, I don't know, you'd have went 10-2 at worst, 11-1 probably. So give me that all day long. Quarterback. I mean, I don't nopium. I guess I would lean maybe nopium because I was the one saying the court decision in Knoxville screwed us royally. But I guess my question back to everybody out there and you guys too, of course, would be if we get Bryce Underwood quality play from our freshman quarterback that he gave last year at Michigan as a true freshman, and quarterback play at Michigan isn't the same as quarterback play at Tennessee, because if you throw 19 touchdowns at Michigan, that's like throwing 30 at Tennessee under Josh Heupel, because they play football different at Michigan. At least they did before they hired their new coach. So if you get that quality play out of Brandon that Underwood gave last year, how good is our offense?
You're exactly right, man. Now, and here's the thing about him. I want to remind people, when they played Oklahoma early in the year, he was kind of lost.
Oof.
He was bad. But as the year went on, and that's probably what this kid's going to do. This kid's probably going to take some lumps.
Yeah.
And even if it's McIntyre, he didn't play enough to say that he won't take lumps. He's not exactly a proven veteran quarterback. If McIntyre ends up being your guy, he's going to take some lumps early in the year. I mean, people have to understand that, what they're looking at.
Yeah.
This is not easy. This is not – if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
You were right. Julian Sayin was in his second year of college football, and in game 1, Texas made him look ordinary.
Straight jacket. Yes.
Arch Manning was in his third year of college football, and Ohio State made him look ordinary in their first games. Now, both of them got better as the year went on, even though Sayin looked pretty daggone ordinary in the Big Ten championship game,
Yep.
and pretty ordinary in the playoffs. I know he's somebody's hero.
Yep.
But pretty ordinary in a lot of ball games.
If you get Underwood, somebody on YouTube just said 8's the floor. I agree with that. If you get Underwood, 8's the floor. I think that's right.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any reason to believe that Faison can't give you Underwood type play.
Yep.
Especially under Josh Heupel, who gave you really high quarterback play with a guy who had 3 months to prep.
Yes. He's quarterback whisperer, you know?
I mean, my only beef with him is he went with Joe over Hooker originally, but we all probably would have because in practice it looked the other way. And if an injury doesn't happen, I don't know what happens, but that's the only thing. Everything else you can say he's going to get at least well above average quarterback play and well above average offensive play. Even if that becomes a ball control, have the leading rusher in the SEC type offense, he'll find a way to get good offense.
We've seen enough of Josh Heupel to know that he's going to put a good offense on the field.
Yep. It may not be hit you over the top.
Right.
Or it may be, but it's going to be sufficient.
It's going to be quality. No question. Yes.
And give me top 50, top half of the SEC defense.
Yep.
And we'll be all right.
You're right.
Have a good one, y'all.
Thank you, my friend. Offense, in one way, shape, or form, Heupel will figure it out. Those guys will figure it out. Unless you're offensive line creators, which I don't see happening. Unless a couple guys take steps back or you have – the other thing you got to – when you start having these conversations, it's always contingent on how healthy do I stay. Most teams in the country cannot afford more than a couple of injuries on their offensive line. Most teams. Even the real haves in the deal. Because you got to allocate your money. And it doesn't take long to get into throwing kids out there. So, Bino, some of these people are real Weisenheimers, as you like to say, Bino.
Come on.
Is Faison being... W. Linsbreath said, is Faison being coached to run out of bounds on 4th down at the end of games? I will say this. That is a very weird thing that Heupel had that happen. Did he have that happen twice under his watch?
Twice. Yeah.
That's you can't make that up odd.
I would have to quarterbacks.
Say, yeah, I would have to say that's because there's zero doubt that he is an incredible offensive mind. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get back to what we were talking about, which is the throw Taji, who I promised was going to set the scene for us today. All right, Andrew Jackson, not the former POTUS, is now coaching edge rushers instead of Chop Harbin. And that's a real upgrade, no offense to Coach Chop. That's hopium. Nopium. The washout of Chaz Coleman leaves Jackson dangerously thin, so a lot of hope will go to transfer Jordan Norman being productive and staying healthy. Bino, hopium or nopium? Where are you in that selective category?
I'll go to hopium, Tony. I think that our entire defensive staff was upgraded as the season went along, and my hope is I also have hopium that Jim knows experience at so many different places with so many different levels of talent available to him will be able to scheme around the loss of Chaz Coleman.
And here's the thing about Chaz Coleman. It's hard to miss what you never had. Now, they played the entire spring with the knowledge that is he going to be back? You know, that was a 6-7 thing. Is he going to be back? And I'm doing 6-7 to be obnoxious, by the way. I was around extended family and a couple of teenage or close to teenage girls. And every time somebody would bring up a point that was up in the air, they would go, 6, 7, and do that thing, and it would drive their parents crazy. So I'm doing that for effect here.
Plus, Tony, we didn't know what we had in Chaz when he was here. It was all about his potential. It wasn't about his production. The Norman kid has production. To look back on it, 2 different places. Chaz was all about what he could be. We have no idea what he would have been here. Obviously, he didn't like football enough to be what he could be.
The one really sad thing about that whole deal is you let the Herring kid go, who's an in-state player, and obviously, and he's an okay player. I can't get out of my mind that Herring's going to have a really good game. And Tennessee's bugaboo game this year on the road is going to be that South Carolina game, like Phil Steele told us. Will be 8 straight weeks. They'll be coming off a bye. That guy has a way, if he's still coaching at that point. But that guy over there has a meaner about him. Pulling game, and I do mean a meaner. Pulling games like that one out of his patoot. Somebody used the term patoot earlier. Getting his team up for that spot. You're playing against a guy basically that you just sent packing. Not to mention the kid that's a first-round pick at LSU. I mean, if they had a chance to do that all over again, they would have absolutely stayed away from Coleman. And the other curious thing about that whole deal, now that we're close to the season, is all these defensive coaches, all of them, knew this kid and vouched for him. Now, you talk about things you can't make up. You can't make that up. And while that was transpiring, people were like, oh, you're making a big deal out of nothing. It's not a big, he's going to be here and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's funny, I mean, the kids not even coming to workouts. So, and we have to report on them as they're happening, whether people want you to report on them or not. I mean, that's kind of what we do here. It's sort of like what went on last year with the Carter kid. Oh, you're making a big deal out of that, and he'll be there. And let me tell you something about the football. You're either there or you're not, and if you're not, you're not. One more quick TO in, and then I got to get to an overtime. We'll have some fun here. And by the way, to the Vol Viking, this one's for you, brah. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms just like my terms are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Like our 2026 football Vol, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. I want to shout out the great Jennifer Morris. Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. She of Keller Williams. She presents the great John Adams tomorrow, who will be in the house with us. In the house, I say, tomorrow, and get us one day closer to the upcoming college football season. And I also want to remind you that it's right around the corner. We're going to be live at Calhoun's on the River, and our Garza Law 5th quarter fan reaction back for year number 10. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. The longest running independent post-game show in the history of the world. And I said the world. In the meantime, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Bow thy head when you say thy name.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's high
noon somewhere. Sun's up.
And it's time for another High Noon Overtime.
The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it.
Presented by High Noon Hard
Exactly what we're going to do.
Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added.
Exactly what's happening.
Live like the sun is always out.
And now it's time for High Noon Overtime.
It's exactly what's happening on this show right now. Presented by our friends at High Noon. High Noon Overtime. Shout out to them. Real hit at the beach last week. Bino, Jeff, in your alleged humble opinion, okay, is there anything in today's show that we have not covered before we get to our final topic that the throat has brought up and maybe bring this thing to a close?
I think we're doing good here, Tom. I think we're on pace.
Bino, why this Arise guy from the Phillies, who I love because he puts a ball in play, why are averages, like Trey Turner last year won the batting title in the National League with like a 305 batting average? And it's said that franchises don't value this Arise guy because he hits like 320, 330. Am I missing something here?
No, Tony, I don't think the industry values contact anymore.
But you guys told me,
or average.
Yeah, but baseball said that the Rays couldn't do what they're doing and couldn't sustain it. It was fun that they did it. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs doing it, right? With a kind of less than payroll.
Well, I mean, but they I mean, they do have an anchor though, Tony. They got a guy. Camanero's hit 33 home runs, so it's not like they're just out there punching the ball here and there. And they may value contact a little more than most teams do, but they've got a horse that's carrying them that hits them a 3-run homer too, at the biggest spots. So, and pitching and defense is still their calling card.
By the way, congratulations to Blake Burke, who got caught up at AAA. Blake Burke deserves an opportunity in Major League Baseball. When you look at the rankings, I don't know how highly ranked he is by that organization. He's in an organization that's pretty loaded, though. But they had 2 Bash brothers in that deal the last time they were in town against the Smokies, 2 guys that were just obliterating AA pitching. I don't understand how we've gotten in Major League Baseball to the point where a batting average doesn't matter. And then you tell me striking out doesn't matter.
I agree.
How in the hell, when the Phillies have a shortstop who literally this year, if it wasn't for home cooking, and I'm sure this goes on around Major League Baseball, but the Phillies shortstop should have 30 errors this year. He's a horrendous fielder. Horrendous. And they throw him out there every day at shortstop. How can that be in Major League Baseball that the eggheads have convinced everybody? I hope Tampa wins it. And if you look at averages in Major League Baseball, it's brutal. Let me look this up real quick. MLB batting average leaders, batting leaders. All right, here we go. What do you think the leading hitter in the American League's hitting, Beanstar? Yordan Alvarez is hitting 322, then a 320, then a 318, then a 306, a 306, a 304. Number 8 is 302. There's only 8 guys over 300. I mean, what are we doing, Bino? And that's what DH
You're asking the wrong guy, Tony. I don't know. I don't know.
And that's what the DH in both leagues. I don't understand it. And this Arise guy is hitting cleanup for the Phillies. Here's another thing I don't understand in baseball. And then we'll go to the phones. When they acquired Arise, they moved, because this guy wants to play second base. Here's the truth. They're renting him for the rest of the year. They got him for spare parts from the Giants, and they're renting him for the rest of the year. So he's not going to be there next year. But there wasn't a big market. There wasn't a big market from him or for him before. And all he does, Bino, do you know how many times Arise has struck out this year? Have you seen this?
It's very few, Tony. I can't call the number.
All right, here you go. He has had 143 hits, 460 appearances at the plate. He struck out 22 times, Bino. How in the hell is that possible? How is that even humanly possible? Anyway. And nobody values him. He bet on himself this year, but it's not like he's going to get some big contract. I don't understand how we've gotten to the point where, and now a quality Major League Baseball player hits 260. What are we doing, Bino? 250. That's a good average. Is the pitching just that much better, Bino? Do we need to lower the mound? What do we need to do to the game? Like you guys in the Braves over the weekend. I mean, I like low-scoring baseball as much as the next guy, but sheesh, it's hard to watch some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees threw 3 top-line pitchers out there, Tony. I mean, top of the heap pitchers over the weekend, and the Braves pitching was very good. The Yankees can't hit a lick because most of their offense is sitting over there in the dugout. But OPS has just become so big, Tony. They just on-base percentage plus slugging is just so much more important to them than average is. And maybe that is a better stat. I don't know, but it's not the baseball I grew up with, and it's hard for me to understand.
It makes for a really, 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 really hard to watch game. Nobody hits behind anybody anymore. There's no situational baseball. Everybody from the top to the bottom of the lineup is trying to swing out of their cleats. It's a game that makes no sense right now, watching it.
Well, there's just less action involved, Tony, when you don't have contact. It doesn't matter. It's, when guys are going up there and striking out time after time after time, it's just pitcher and the catcher and the hitter, and no one else is involved.
One other observation for you. After watching a bunch of Major League Baseball for 6 weeks with my brother, and I'm watching it night in, night out because he's a baseball freak. Because here, I'll tell you, I'll give you full disclosure. Here, I follow the Phillies on radio here. I listen to Scott Fransky, and I enjoy the game more, but I'm just going to give you a couple of observations. If they ever go to ABS on the collegiate level, which Chris Burke's an advocate of, and Bino, I want your thoughts on this. I think there's another thing in baseball, the way the ABS is set up in baseball, and then I'm going to get back to the Vols here momentarily. Just a quick detour here. On our High Noon Overtime, presented by our friends at High Noon, and you talk about a great product. You talk about a winner with the college football season coming up. You talk about a winner with the season that we're in right now and the warm weather and all that's going on there. I just want to shout out my friends at High Noon because it's an absolute winner on your High Noon hotline, and it's noon somewhere right now. 14 flavors. Real vodka, real fruit juice, only 100 calories, no sugar added, gluten-free. Black cherry and pineapple, next level. I'll tell you a really underrated, undervalued skill in Major League Baseball that nobody's talking about is pitch recognition from catchers. I predict to you that in future generations, if the ABS sticks and they stay with the current format they're in, which is to say you only get 2 replays per game, and if you're right, you get to keep going, keep going, keep going. The Blue Jays were as good at that over the weekend as anybody I've seen this year. The other night, in the Phillies-Blue Jays game, I think it was Saturday's game, there were 11 challenges, and most of them were by the Jays, and 9 of them were right. They overturned 9 calls. And the thing about baseball that's really tricky for most people to understand is the difference between a 3-0 count and a 2-1 count, or a 1-1 count and a 1-2 or 2-1 count is light years different, the way an at-bat sets up. And to have somebody back there behind the dish that can recognize what's a strike, because the Phillies do not. Both their catchers are not good at it. It's a very underrated, in-the-grain skill that if they stick with that, Bino, they stick with this ABS, it's going to be finding a guy that's really good at that is going to be, it's a very effective weapon, I think is what I'm trying to say here. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right, Tony. Catchers are much better at it than pitchers or hitters, just simply because I think they're the least emotional partner in that threesome.
Yes.
And they get it right at a much greater percentage than either pitchers or hitters. Yes, that's a change in baseball I really like too. And you're right. I think the biggest difference is between a 2-1 count or a 1-2 count. That's a huge, huge difference for a hitter.
And the other thing that really gets me in baseball, Bryce Harper yesterday, because it's all about Bryce Harper. I can't stand that guy. No offense to him. But there's a reason the Nationals won the World Series when he left. And I hate to tell Tony Vols, look, he's one of the bros and all that stuff. But here's the thing. He challenges in the first inning. That's totally idiotic. That's making it all about you. Your challenges in that sport, when you get two of them, should be saved from the sixth inning on, or if you're at a chance to get out of a jam or you're hitting and there's traffic in the middle innings. But in the first inning, when there's nobody on base and you're challenging, I'll tell you another thing that pissed me off watching it. Now I'm getting exposed to a bunch of Major League Baseball. Bino, I saw a couple of guys that hit like 189 or 211 or 212 challenging. The manager ought to have the balls to look at one of those guys and say, look, clown, you are a 200 hitter. Do not be wasting our challenges. Nobody gives a damn about your out you're about to make. Stop it. Am I right or wrong on those points?
No, you're exactly right. We got Jazz Chisholm is the worst challenger in the world. They fined him twice this year. I think it's like $500 because he challenged a pitch where the entire ball was in the strike zone. The Yankees, if the entire ball is in the strike zone, you get fined $500. But they've never told him, hey, don't challenge.
You suck at it.
Because we're running a kindergarten there like we've been running.
That's right. With all these guys, you going to tell Jazz Chisholm something. He's making all that money. His name's Jazz. His last name's Chisholm. I mean, how you going to mess with that guy? All right, let's go back to what Orange Throat was saying. And if you want to get in, 865-200-5402. And I think we still need to get our phone lines fixed. But who am I to comment on that? Let's, I don't know, but if you've encountered difficulty getting in today, I think I'm hip to the hip clip and hip to the hip talk or whatever they
Plain
say.
JOB, baby. 8 hours a day.
Yeah, I got me a straight
got all
plain
over the time I
JOB.
get.
I think I've kind of figured this thing out. All right. Now I got both these people. I got to do this manually myself. Charlie manually. Those of you keeping score. Okay. By the way, Orange Throat with a great thought-provoking write-up to share with your friends. It's a great conversation starter in the off season. Great piece in the blog today. Hopium or nopium, he calls it. We left off at Andrew Jackson in for Coach. By the way, the only guy that thinks right now, the only person in the world that thinks that Coach Chop is a quality coach is Lorena Bobbitt. That's it. Lorena Bobbitt believes, and kids look up Lorena Bobbitt. You know when I knew Laura's dad was funny? Bino? One year, and he's retired. He's a retired surgeon, no longer with us. Really funny guy, though. Love laughing. Really well read, really intelligent, big brain guy, but yet had that kind of simpleton sense of humor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
One year he hands me a knife at Christmas time. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. It's a Christmas present. And it said on the side of it, Lorena Bobbitt knife. He etched on the side of the knife. He got it. Somehow he figured out, he got into engraving somehow, and he engraved Lorena Bobbitt knife on the side of this knife. And I laughed so loud at that. I thought, this guy is classic. All right, we're going to go back to our phones. Hopium or nopium? Hopium. Tony B is selling SEC teams like the great Jennifer Morris sells homes. So maybe none of Tennessee's SEC opponents will be any good. Nopium. A broken clock is right twice a day, which usually is more than the dean hits on his hot takes. No offense to you, Tone, and welcome back. Bino, are you hopiuming or nopiuming? You stand with the throat, Bino, or you stand with me? Because I cannot look at the SEC and go, wow, boy, that scares me. Georgia's on your schedule.
Tony, I don't know what the correct answer is here, but I'm going to say I'm hopium. I think that the top. We went through this exercise the other day, and I was more sold on the top 5 projected teams in the SEC than you were. So I guess that's hopium.
How about you, Bri? Because Bino stands with a man who says a broken clock's right twice a day, which usually is more than the dean hits on his hot takes. No offense. So Bino agrees with that. Go ahead.
They can't all underachieve. Some of them have to win the game. So I'll side with Orange Throw here.
I forgot that little tidbit there, Tony. Matter of fact, I'd forgotten he had that down there at the end. I thought you were reading something off YouTube.
Interesting. Again, I'm of the mindset. We just gave you 6 categories. Hopium, nopium. If Tennessee's offensive line is the best in the Heupel in his 6 years here. If Faison Brandon is one of the best true freshman quarterbacks in the country this season. If Jim Knowles has a much better defense than that wretched group Banks threw out there last year. If Andrew Jackson is a huge upgrade over the guy that bobbited our ends last year. If Tony B is right in selling the SEC short at the top, Tennessee can make a playoff. You get all 6 of those, you're going to make a playoff. We get all 6 of those. You're going to make a playoff. Back to our phones we go. Brian, do you remember the Lorena Bobbitt story?
I think so. It's hard to forget something like that.
Yep. Lorena Bobbitt and the Joey Buttafuoco story run together for me. Bino, do you remember Joey Buttafuoco, who had I think he had a license plate that said Bada Bing on it, Joey Buttafuoco?
Yes, Tony.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, Bino, this is Gary. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Gary. Great to hear your voice, my friend.
You too, buddy. I enjoy, I know we're talking, we're looking ahead at the football season and everything, but like you guys, I still enjoy a little baseball.
Yep.
And especially when the Cubs are actually doing pretty good, Tony.
Cubs have had the weirdest season in the world, man. That is the streakiest,
haven't they?
oddest. That they're like a lot of baseball. I mean, the Dodgers are going through it right now. It's such a weird game.
I kind of have more hopium about Tennessee's football season than I do about the Cubs' postseason at this point, even though they are doing okay right now, you know?
It's interesting. I have zero, and I mean zero hope, in the Phillies in the postseason.
I tell you what, Gary, it must be fun to watch Pete Crow Armstrong play every day. That guy's a fun baseball player to watch.
He's a bad ball swinger, Bino. I bet Gary's going to tell you he's frustrating to watch.
He has been frustrating down through the last couple of years, but he is he's an ESPN Sports Center highlight guy. You know, you see the highlight on ESPN, and he looks better than he really is. Mm-hmm. But this year, he's kind of done more and projects more and done more than what he normally has the last couple of years. So,
in other
I
words,
know
he's turning in smarter bats.
I think so. He's learning how to hit. I think a little bit better this year, learning how to take pitches. That's a good way of putting it, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's walking more. He's getting on base more. And, you know,
he had several at bats against the Yankees in that series.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Gary. He had several at bats against the Yankees in that series a couple of weeks ago. Just absolutely grinder at bats. Wore the pitcher out.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's got a lot of tools.
Isn't that funny, being like in that sport? It depends on when you see a guy, right? Because we're not all going to watch. Yeah. We're not all going to watch. We watch our own teams. And then you pick up things about the league while watching your team make its way through the league. The Blue Jays have a kid in right field by the name of Lukes. That is a hell of a fielder. That kid fielded that position this weekend. One hell of a great baseball player. I don't know if he sucks or not, and he was just on a heater this weekend, but goodness gracious.
Yeah, like I have no idea who that is, Tony. What did you say his last name was?
Lukes, Luckes. I had no idea who he was. I'm like, damn, man. I mean,
he's a pest too.
Shit, he's a great fielder. I mean, this guy understands what he's doing.
You've probably seen him play a couple of times, Bino.
What's that?
You've probably seen him play a couple of times.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a pest. He's hurt the Yankees several times. Both defensively and at the plate.
Great player.
Yeah. Hey, I did go up, Tony? I was able to go to. I know you were talking about going to Philadelphia. Were you able to go to any games while you were there?
I had zero interest in going and watching that team play live. Watching them playing on television was offensive enough.
I got you. Okay. Well, I actually went up a couple of weeks ago. I went to Chicago for a weekend.
Nice.
Got to see the Cubs play Friday night and a Saturday game, and it was the weekend that they brought back the 2016 World Series team.
Oh,
10-year
wow.
anniversary of that team. So that was really, really cool to see all of that.
That's cool.
And got to go to they dedicated this Champions Gate thing there and everything. Got to hear Joe Madden speak a little bit, Rizzo speak. And what did you guys think about Joe Madden as a manager?
I kind of liked him, even though I know he graded on people. Look, he to me, he came from Tampa. I got kind of a soft spot for him. Plus, he's a Philly boy, so I got a little soft spot for him. What'd you think of Joe Madden, Bino?
I thought Joe Madden was really, really entertaining. I think his reputation as a mad scientist was a little bit overblown. I don't know where he stands among managers as far as how he handled his roster or what they thought about him. I just thought at times there was too much attention paid to him as opposed to his roster.
I get that, Bino. He was definitely a little bit outside the box thinker, for sure. And I think he was the one that I don't know if he did this or if he started this entire thing, but I know he did for the Cubs that year. Like when they travel, they're on a plane somewhere. You know, they all would wear suits and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He made it more fun for them to dress up and wear a football jersey or dress up for Halloween or something like that. So he made it a little bit more fun, and at least for that team. And have you guys heard? This will be really quick. If you'll embellish me a little bit, Tony. Have you ever heard him talk about the 5 levels of baseball?
No.
Which I thought was really cool. Okay. Bino, you?
I have not.
Okay. I will be very quick. 5 levels of baseball. Level number 1, just happy to be here. You grind through all the minor leagues. You make it to the major league level. Level number 1, just happy to be here. Level number 2, survival mode. Man, I don't want to go back to where I was, riding the buses, doing all of that. So I want to stay where I'm at. I want to stay here. That's level number 2. Level number 3, the players finally figure out, man, I can do this. That's level number 3. They figure out, I can do this. and I'm pretty good at this. I'm just as good as the guy here beside me. Level number 4. I just want to make all the money I can make. I'm chasing the big deal, chasing the big contract. How many people do that? Make it to that level number 4. And then level number 5, all I want to do is win.
Wow. Hey, Bino, how many level 5 guys are there in Major League Baseball? What percentage do you think on those teams?
Probably more than we think, Tony.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Probably more than we think.
Yeah. When you watch postseason baseball, you can tell how much it means to those guys.
Yeah.
And I heard Bryce Harper the other day, who I'm not a big fan of, but the Phillies had a Chase Utley day where they put him on their wall of shame. And I mean, you have 10,000. I mean, you're the first of 10,000 losses. I mean, I call that a wall of shame. Anyway, so Harper was talking vividly about memories he had when he was in junior college of a couple of home runs that Utley hit, one off CC Sabathia when he was with Milwaukee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going, wow. So even those guys, when they get to that level, most of those guys come up, Gary, they're fans of the sport. Now, the Dominican guys, I don't know. See, that's the thing that makes baseball mysterious is you're dealing with so many people from so many different cultures and even languages now. You got a bunch of guys that are playing the sport that you really don't know how they feel because you have to speak to them through an interpreter. It's a very interesting mix in baseball right now. So.
Yeah, I agree, Tony. I think there's probably more of the guys that we would think that, most of those guys get stuck probably between 4 and 5, wanting to make as much money as they possibly can, and they're happy with that. But then you got the guys that really care, and they want to win. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. I know you both love baseball, and I thought that was pretty cool. And, I don't know that Joe Madden was the greatest manager in the world, but he was a great manager for that team, for that season.
Perfect.
For sure.
Yes.
And he did really well with the Rays and building a young team up and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So
hey,
anyway,
really stupid question. Hey, stupid question for you. How many of the Cub players are still active that played on that team?
Well, you got Schwarber. You've got
Chris Bryant's still out there. Is Bryant still out there?
Yeah, Chris Bryant's not really active anymore. And then Javi Baez, who they sent to. I think he's playing for Detroit now.
Okay.
So I think that's probably it.
Wow.
Just those two. I think that's it because everybody else showed up for that weekend thing. So except those guys right there, those 3 that we just named.
Thank you, my man.
That's 15 years ago.
No, hey, listen, I appreciate you. 10
Thanks,
years,
Gary.
Hey, Bino, hanging around in Major League Baseball for 10 years is pretty damn hard to do, is the moral of that story.
Yes,
that was
is.
A young team.
David Ross was their manager for a time, wasn't he?
Yep, old David Ross.
Didn't he play at Auburn or somewhere?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. Berkey's a good guy to ask, or Google. I don't know. I don't remember David Ross. Do you remember him, Bino, when he played in the league?
I do not.
I remember he was a pest. Ghost of Dr. Z said earlier, we're talking about the Major League Baseball and why it's so hard to hit. He said over close to 100 different pitchers have hit 100 this season. And the kid that pitches for Milwaukee, that's the most unfair thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Watching him pitch is like he came from outer space or something. Has he pitched against the Yankees being star this season? The kid
Tony,
from the
I can't remember. I can't remember if he pitched in the series against the Yankees or not. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
No, you have
there.
zero chance. You have zero chance when you're facing him.
Yeah, he and Schlittler. I mean, Schlittler was still throwing. He was still throwing 100 in this 7th inning the other day.
Hey, Nega Dave, we got the Cardinals this week. What can we expect? What can we expect? Nega Dave. By the way, Luke asked me what kind of cheese is in your quesadilla. I come off that vacation. That's what kind of cheese is in my quesadilla. I got spaghetti sauce only, no cheese. I put myself on the scale last night. Okay, I don't even want to tell you what I weighed. But I am. The word is fatso. The word for the day. Fatso. Fatso. I looked at myself today. I said, that weight's coming off. Brian, have you ever done that? You ever looked at yourself and said, my weight's coming off?
Yeah, probably every day.
James Daniel IV says Mizorowski's been getting hit some in the last month. That's the other thing about this game. If 100 guys, Bino, have hit 100, when does that become commonplace and it becomes easier to key on you? And when you're like the Mizorowski guy, don't you eventually tire out when you throw the ball at that pace all the time? And there only so much. I mean, that guy's got to blow soon, right?
Well, I talked to our common friend about that, and he said his mechanics are so good that he's not likely to blow anytime soon. Mizorowski beat the Yanks 6-0 back, Tony, back in April. Struck out 11. Through 6 innings, gave up 2 hits. Back in May, I'm sorry.
Isn't that wild?
How do the Brewers do it all the time? They have to be like the Utah Jazz of their era because they'd probably win a world title in any other decade except the one they're playing in.
Yep.
Yeah, they've struck on the right formula there.
A really cool thing happened at the Phillies thing over the weekend, Bino, which is why they can screw around with baseball all they want, but the history of that sport's always going to matter. Scherzer, who was there in baseball standards when they handed down the 10 Commandments at this point, okay? He was on Mount Sinai when they got the commandments. And Scherzer got his 4,000th strikeout the other night. But I don't know if that's going to happen. In the same game, no, I'm sorry. He broke into the top 10, the top something, look it up. But the top strikeout thing, he did something the other night. At the same night that Aaron Nola got his 2,000th strikeout, which is a pretty damn good accomplishment. Scherzer, Steve Carlton happened to be there, and they snapped a photo of Steve Carlton and him on the field together. That's pretty cool. He broke, Scherzer did the other night, Walter Big Train Johnson's record for career strikeouts. I don't know, Bino, that these starters stay in games long enough to get into that stratosphere. Do you? These days?
No, it'll be difficult, Tony. The only thing that helps them is everybody strikes out now. But yeah, those you're not going to see. You're not going to see those huge pitching numbers, I don't think, like we used to, simply for the reason you're saying. Most are just going to pitch 6-7 innings. But again, nobody cares if they strike out. So strikeout numbers, who knows?
Yeah. Back to the phones we go. Bino, the Strider kid from Atlanta, is he ever the same?
I hope so, Tony, but that's a good question.
I mean, those guys, when they come back from
I doubt it.
He's had 2 of them, I think. I think he had a modified this last time around, but he had one at Clemson. Man, he really put a lot of torque on his arm. That Miz guy, too, they're saying in here in the chat, and I believe our guy, because he knows what he's talking about. He was telling me that the kid from Farragut was going to blow, and the Angels, that's why they called him up. You remember that, Bino? And he blew. The Angels drafted him and put him up there. Why are the Angels such an unserious organization? Before we go back to the phones, Bino, they just can't get any traction, can they?
Yeah, no, they can't, Tony. They can't.
And they've had
I
two
guess
generational
it's hard there in the shadow of the Dodgers.
But they had 2 generational players on their roster.
Yeah.
You and Ohtani crossing paths with the kid in center field. I mean,
yeah, Trout and Ohtani. Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't you be able to move a bar with that? And did you guys really start somebody as your leadoff hitter yesterday, hitting in the 100s, as somebody's saying, like 190 or something? Grisham?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow. Back to our phones we go. 865-200-5402. Hi, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Howdy, toddy, Basilio.
Hi, welcome in. Must have had a little digi-skip there. Sorry about that. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? It's good to have you back in Knoxville, man.
Hey, Lee, good to talk to you on a high noon overtime segment for the Stars.
I don't know about the Stars, but Bino is on, so the Angels.
So you know that's not right.
Like, oh, come on, Bino. The Angels, man, they love getting these like young players that see some promise, and they throw them in the MLB and try to develop them while they're in the MLB. Or you get like Bert, like the Brewers. Talked about this the other day. Like the Brewers will get him developed in the minors and make sure he's ready before they put him up there. I think some organizations get it and some don't.
Yeah, I'm afraid the Angels really did a number on our shortstop or the second baseman on the World Series team.
Simo, yeah,
Just
no,
crazy.
I don't think they really did him a whole lot of favors.
No, you twist a kid's brain all up when you do that.
Yeah. The baseball stuff I think is really interesting, man. That you're talking about Mizorowski and like the difference in pitching nowadays. Like the velo is obviously ridiculously higher than it used to be, but MLB pitchers now or MLB hitters nowadays can hit velo. Like it's not necessarily the velo, it's the movement that these pitchers can get on a baseball these days. Like that's what's incredibly different from the older baseball pitchers or like.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about getting like that's the insane thing is these guys getting like 14 inches of like horizontal movement on these sliders. Like that's what's getting these batters more than anything. I mean, it's almost impossible to hit.
It's wild too because the way you achieve that, and you cannot teach this. It's just like a God-given thing. Is the whole concept of spin rate, right? Some fastballs stay there. And some guys have the ability with different pitches to really move the ball around because their spin rates are so great. I mean, even fastballs that move, Lee, they ain't so much the breaking pitches or the sliders. It's some of these guys have like that kid Mizorowski, his fastball moves and it moves where he knows where the damn thing's going. That's almost impossible to hit that, man.
Yeah, they all have different versions of fastballs. Like they're all throwing cutters and sinkers, and they can all make them move different directions. I mean, I don't know how these hitters come close to making contact with these guys half the time. But the analytics part, I think, is what you guys are talking about. Not valuing guys like a Rise. Like I think analytics needs to be a part of decision making and roster building in all sports for sure, but you can sort of you can get a little bit carried away with it, I think. I mean, if you just look at the numbers in baseball, there's a very high correlation between scoring runs and like pulled fly balls, hard hit percentage. That's what all these guys in front offices are looking at. Like and to them, it doesn't matter if you strike out. If you're pulling the ball and hitting it hard, barreling it up more often, that's going to equate to more runs. But the problem is situationally, you find yourselves in games where you just need to put the ball in play, and you've got a guy up there that may or may not be able to do it.
It's
Yeah,
really,
that's a great point, Lee. These guys aren't as schooled in that situation as the old time players were, and I guess I guess it is better to value full game rather than a situation that may come up every once in a while. But yeah, they don't know how. They don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself just screaming, like, just put the ball in play, put the ball in play. They can't do it. I do think one thing that's really interesting too is that speed. I think is something that if you don't have like a lineup full of guys that just with this hard hit percentage and high fly ball rates that can just mash, you can close the gap with speed, like getting first to third, stealing second to get home. Like that's a cheat code for teams. Like if you have speed, you can close that gap. If you don't have millions and millions of dollars to spend for these guys that hit home runs. Like when Judge went out, everybody said, well, the Yankees offense is going to fall apart, and it eventually did. But for about a month or two there, they were stealing bases, and the offense really didn't fall apart that much. But that's what like that's what the Rays are doing. That's what the Brewers are doing. You can steal bases. That's a cheat code in MLB. I don't know why more teams don't do it.
They don't even try to steal. It's bizarre, man. I mean, again, I watch that sport, and analytics tells you don't put pressure on defenses, and that makes zero sense to me. And I get what they're doing. I understand everybody's swinging for the big fly, and strikeouts don't matter. But if I don't put a ball in play, Lee, how does and I don't put pressure on a catcher, I don't know.
Especially when it's a bad defense, and there's a lot of bad defenses.
Yes.
Like that's Tony Vitello's biggest issue is he's got a team with absolutely no speed and maybe the worst defense in all of baseball. And if you just put the ball in play against them, they're probably going to screw it up a lot of the time. Anyway,
it's a pretty interesting conversation. Yeah. And the Scherzer thing was like kind of a geek out moment to think about. He moved into 10th place all time over the weekend. He has 3,516 career strikeouts. The truth in the modern game, guys, is that these guys do not pitch deep enough into games, even the strikeout pitchers, to amass those kind of numbers. And for him and Steve Carlton to be in the same building the other night, two guys that are in the top 10, is pretty damn cool. That's a pretty cool photograph. Think about that.
Yeah, that's and I mean, Tony, not only do they not pitch deep enough into games, they don't get near the amount of starts that those guys got either.
Yes.
I mean, those guys were all in 4-man rotations. These guys are all in 5 and sometimes 6.
Yep.
Well, I guess put me in the hopium camp with football. I don't know. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs, but I am pretty excited about the season. I'm excited to watch the freshman quarterback.
Yeah, now that it's here, it's going to be fun. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Like I said, I have no reservations that we're going to go out there and like win the league or anything, but you never know. Who knows? The league could end up being pretty crazy. So I guess you probably put me in the hopium. I don't know what that means, but I guess put me there.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, the thing about the league is that nobody knows. And how would you know? Nobody knows, and how would you know? So, and that's that way across college football right now. So, the way the spin rate is being explained to me, because James Daniel IV said they want lower spin rates, the lowest spin rate lowest spin rate possible on fastballs now, because it makes it appear visually like it's rising or staying in the same plane. And I asked my buddy who's pitching coach that. He says the following: you want a higher spin rate on a four-seam baseball. So, James, you and I are being taken under wing here. You want a higher spin rate for a four-seam fastball. It's not the movement. It's about how the ball maintains its plane. Higher the spin maintains its plane longer. So, Bino, one of them is right. I don't know. Which one makes more sense to you?
Well, Tony, with all due respect to James Daniel, I'm going with a guy that was major league pitching coach for
20 years,
like 2 decades.
Yeah. Or maybe they're saying the same thing. They want the lowest spin rate possible on fastballs now because it makes it appear visually like it's rising or staying in the same plane. And then we're being told
I don't know.
here,
All of that was above me, Tony.
They want a higher spin rate on a four-seam fastball because it's not about movement. It's about how the ball maintains its plane. The higher the spinning fastball, the higher the spin, the fastball maintains its plane longer. I think what it comes down to is this. The kid that pitched at Farragut threw it very fast, but college hitters caught up to that, if you remember. Because basically it sat there. Versus a ball that's got a ton of spin, Bino, is the physics of that with the spin that it gets on top of you and stays on top of you? Is that what they're talking about with plane, Bino? I'm trying to understand
Tony,
that.
I'm at a disadvantage here because I don't know jack about physics. I don't know jack about pitching, and I don't know jack about geometry. So I would suggest we move on or find another co-host.
God, Brian, what'd you think of that? For a two-seam fastball, a low spin rate is desirable. So James Daniel, it depends on the type of fastball you're throwing. Two-seam, you want that spin rate lower. Four-seam, you want that spin rate faster because it's going to maintain the plane more. And Bino, how do they know all this, the science of what goes into this? I'll tell you what freaked me out is when Evan Russell said when he was preparing for Vanderbilt 5 years ago, the shot heard around the world. It's coming up on 5 years. He said that he was working extra time in the cage, and you could punch up the whatever it was. You could punch into the pitching machine and have it mimic the guy you're going to face in that series. Is that crazy, Bino, or is that crazy?
The technology's amazing. Amazing. I mean, I came from there, the Jugs pitching machine. We'd hit inside. They'd put those softballs in there. They'd come out like a knuckleball. It might hit you in the head more than it was a strike.
And Bino, a Jugs machine when I was a kid was 2 tires put together.
Yeah,
you remember
that's what
those
it was.
days?
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what do they use?
2 spinning tires.
2 spinning tires. And trust me, when Bino says, if the weight on one of them is a little lower than the other before you get it adjusted and you're the guinea pig that goes in there and gets thrown at, you can get your damn block taken off.
Especially those indoor balls that it would squeeze before it flew out of there. Goodness gracious. There wasn't no telling where those things were going.
I mean, that thing could fly over your head, fly behind you. That's the way I just said you, Bino. I went and turned Yankee. I'm going to have to become a reformed Yankee again, Bino. We need to have a ceremony all over again down at Calhoun's on the River that first week down there.
You need to get your ass to the Blake house.
Do you? No, I don't. I'm not interested in showing up being hung by my britches from.
That was an impressive young man who you brought to the Blake house today.
I don't want to be hung from T. Martin overpass, Bino. No thanks. By my britches.
I'll be conducting tours to the Blake house. We'll pick up at St. Mark's United Methodist Church. We'll shuttle to the Blake house.
On the way
back.
On the way out, love you, appreciate
It's
you.
all love, W. Lynn.
Love you, love your show. Shout out to my friends at High Noon. I want to remind you that High Noon comes in 14 flavors. And then also, if you're feeling adventurous, try the High Noon Vodka Iced Tea. Get you a little kick in the noontime hour. Refreshing flavors, peach and lemon, green tea, half and half as well. Or check out High Noon Tequila Seltzer. 6 refreshing flavors, including blood, orange, and I'm selling the Texas Longhorns in honor of that because there's only one orange, and it's right here in beautiful Knoxville. High Noon, real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. 21 and over. Enjoy responsibly. Bino and Bry, any final thoughts for us here on the way out besides we hate geometry, we hate math, we hate science, and we hate
pitching.
And we hate pitchers.
I said pitching for our guy. Tony, love you. Glad you're home safe and sound, and I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thanks, babe. Brian Hartman, love you. Tomorrow, Matt Diskin's here along with John Adams, but listen anyway. I'm sure the conversation and the reportage around the meeting of the minds and the fact that the Big Ten's getting ready to snooker the SEC into something they don't want to do will come up. But we love you. We appreciate you. Yeah. Luke says, but we love music. That's right. You know, the geometry, I'm not sure about. The science of all that. I mean, I can sound really ignorant in the weeds very quickly. One thing about me, when I don't know, I say I don't know, but I'll go to people that I think do know who will try to explain things to me, but maybe Laura can explain swing rate or spin rate rather to me. But there's so much science now in athletics, and I do agree with Lee that I know enough to know that if we don't value a guy that hits 325 in this Arise guy, and you don't value that, I mean, what the hell? That's all I got to say. Like, what the hell? Like, what gives you the right? Michael Scott? Toby? I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't think a 320 batting average is good or desirable and you don't want that in your organization, you deserve a pet rock or a rock for your going away present. Appreciate you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love your show. Till we meet again. Peace on the streets. Peace in the Middle East. I'm Basilio. Thank you to our friends at High Noon. We out. Or as Shane Terrio says, Terrio out. All right, so for those listening, let's run today's show back. And we'll do it with the greatest of ease, G. Let's see here. Here's today's show coming right back at you in triplicate. Double filed. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.